Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back. So in this video we are going to begin the next phase of our project here, and that is the 5-lug conversion. So we are going from 4-lug to 5-lug. So the way I'm going to make this possible is by using the first gen Honda Odyssey parts, which is the minivan, and they were actually a 5-lug, and they have the same engine bay and front suspension setup as this car, like to a T. So everything should bolt right up and we should have no problems. And it's also a bit of a brake upgrade kit on top of the structural integrity from the 5-lug and the extra wheel options that you can get from it, as well as deleting the captive rotors or the hub over rotor setup that this car has that I hate, because you have to take the hub off to get the rotor off, which is a huge pain. That's not fun for anybody. So this new setup that I got here, I really scored at the Junkyard today, and I was able to find a first gen Odyssey at the Junkyard, which I never thought that I would actually come across. And it had cross drilled and slotted rotors, calipers in decent condition. I didn't have my axle nut socket set, so I had to rip this axle out of the trans and cut the boot, but I don't really need the axles, so no biggie. But I was able to get these out at the Junkyard, and they're in pretty decent shape. So today I think I would just want to disassemble this stuff and evaluate what we have, make sure the slide pins and the calipers aren't frozen and all that good stuff, and just take this thing down and tear the ABS off of it, take off the brake hoses, because I'm going to probably either reuse mine or buy some braided lines or something like that. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and evaluate all the things we have, what we need to replace, maybe wheel hubs and bearings. I got to check on the bearings and see if they're tight. Maybe I need to replace them. But yeah, we're going to see what we got to work with, and try to make some really nice 5-lugs knuckles out of this, and then go ahead and mount it on the car once we have stuff to do the rear too. So that'll come at a later date, but at this point I'm going to try to prep the front stuff while I have it, and then we'll get some rear 5-lug stuff as well next time I'm at the Junkyard, hopefully. So I got this thing just about as taken apart as I can get it for right now. This rotor looks like it's going to be pretty good. I think I can take this to work and cut it. These brake pads seem awesome. I got all the brackets here, but there's plenty of meat on the pads. I'm going to be able to run these pads, I think. I'll sand them up and paint them, and I won't even need to buy brake pads because these are like mint, brand new brake pads. The brackets are in really good shape. Slide pins aren't frozen. I will probably rework all of that stuff. But yeah, the rotor I can cut. Brake pads are nice. The other side looks the same. Rotor might be a little more rusted. Still probably cuttable. The bearing in this side feels pretty decent. I need to undo the axle, which I'll bring home the socket for probably on Monday, and then I'll go ahead and bust this guy off, and then I'll be able to feel how the bearing feels, and I'm going to decide whether or not I want to change the bearings based on how it feels, because it does seem like a pain. If they feel good, maybe I'll just ship it. Also, I think maybe I should just replace it, because I don't know how many miles were on this car, and maybe I should just go for replacing it just because it's the right thing to do. But I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. But I'm pumped about this. The caliper's good too. It's not frozen. I went ahead and I was able to move the piston. So based on that, I think everything here is a good working setup. So I'm going to just start reconditioning all this stuff. And now it's just to figure out what to do with the rears. And then, reconditioning all this. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this side apart too. And I will get to figuring out whether this side is all good working order as well. And what the bearing looks like in here. And we'll go ahead and make this stuff look nice before we throw it on. And I gotta go back to the Junkyard and figure out what I'm gonna do for the rear. I'm not sure if you guys have done 5-lug conversions, but in the rear over here, what we have going on is the drums, which I'm not sure about the mounting location of the actual caliper. Once you actually put a caliper and bracket assembly on here, I don't know where it would mount, and I was under the assumption that I could mount it to my existing knuckle, but it seems like the knuckle obviously doesn't have the mounting location for that bracket. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to need to get a knuckle off of a 94 to 97 Accord EX, which might be the case, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. If I have to do that, I got to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and look for that next time I'm at the Junkyard and see what the mounting location looks like there, or if any of you guys know if I have to get that knuckle, then let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and probably check that out next time I'm there. But the rear is going to have to wait for now. I should be able to use that and the Prelude 97 through 01 hub bearing assemblies for the center. That's a 5-lug. And then Acura RSX 2003 rotors should fit apparently, and that's about what I should end up doing, I think. And then as far as everything else, I think that's pretty much it. And then the 94 and 97 calipers, obviously, like I said. So that's the rear setup, hopefully. And I heard something about using washers to space out the hub bearing, so that it sits in the correct location, and that the axle, or not axle nut, but so that the hub tightens down all the way, or something like that. There's some kind of discrepancy with that, so I need to figure that situation out too, and make sure that I have that all figured out. And I'll let you guys know as I figure this kind of stuff out. But I would also like to get some nice True Heart front control arms that have the adjustable camber plate in the front, and that'll allow me to do my camber up nicely. But I have been checking this over, and it looks like the front knuckle should bolt up just like everyone says it does. So I think I might look at some of those True Heart camber arms and get those coming, and or camber control arms up top with the camber plate, and get those on the way. That way I can set this thing up just like I like it as far as suspension goes, and actually have the adjustability. And I'll probably sell this whole loaded knuckle here and try to recoup some of my money that I had spent on it. And you know, I still have new inner and outer tie rods and stuff, and I'd like to probably redo the bushings in the lower control arm because those are all shot. So yeah, I'll probably go ahead and burn out the lower bushings and put poly bushings in their place because they're kind of squeaky. So I'm going to see what I can do about the lower control arms. I'll probably take all this stuff apart when I do it, and recondition all the suspension all at once. I think I'm going to paint everything black. I don't want it to stand out too much. I think I got a few nice red accents, but I think everything else should be black. So I'm going to go ahead and just do everything gloss black in here, and should look pretty nice when all said and done. But that is this winter's big project, and hopefully it doesn't take me all winter to do. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on taking apart the other knuckle and seeing exactly what we're working with on this side, and hopefully everything's in as good a shape as this side was. Alright guys, so it's a day later. I decided not to end the video. I was going to, but I will carry it on. So I went ahead and used compressed air to blow the piston out of the caliper, and you can see how rotted it is. It's all like caked on there. It's really nasty. This thing is pretty much toast. So I did order new calipers. They'll be here shortly. I decided I would just go with these for now. I think in the future I'd like to do a big brake upgrade. I know that I can get some calipers from an RL, and they make a modified bracket. Somebody on Instagram was telling me, and I appreciate all that information that he gave me. And he showed me where I can get the adapter bracket and all the necessary hardware to make these Acura RL brakes work. And they're huge, and they're 4-piston. They squeeze from both sides, so it's like really sweet. But I don't think that I'm going to go that route just yet because you know, let's just get the 5-lug swap working first, I think, and then we can proceed to actually doing a big brake upgrade maybe in the future if I feel like the brakes aren't adequate. But you know, I do think that these brakes are going to be definitely bigger and stop much faster, and I think for the time being it's going to be what's cheap for me. And you know, maybe someday we can spend more money, but for right now I'm just going to go ahead and throw the Odyssey calipers on there. I ordered a new set of Odyssey calipers, so should be a pretty decent brake upgrade anyway because the rotors are going to be nice and much bigger anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the water beating on this thing. I kind of left it out in the rain today, but thought it was a good opportunity to show you what the rainwater looks like on it. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. It beats pretty nicely. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to probably, I brought home my axle nut socket set. So I have that right here. And we'll be able to open this up and see what size we need. We're gonna find out. It is a 36. So we're gonna go ahead and bust these axle nuts off, take the old axles out, throw those in the garbage, and also probably throw these calipers out too, since they're toast. This one included, just because, you know, if I'm gonna do one caliper, I'm gonna do 2 new ones. And I might as well get some brake pads at this point in time. These actually look, I don't know, these look pretty good. Maybe I'll just clean these up and just sand them and then use these brake pads since they look decent. But obviously it's gonna come with new brackets. I got new brackets for them too, so I'm gonna lose the brackets. And I will have all this stuff as spares, or, you know, just probably just get rid of it, I don't know. But I do have the rotors. I'm gonna try to take these to work and machine these soon and make sure that I can get a nice edge on them. And then I'll go ahead and start putting this stuff together as easily as I can. I wanna get the axles out and spin the bearings, make sure that those spin freely, and then we'll be able to go from there. Now, if I was saving these axles, I wouldn't smash right on here. I'd leave the nut on, like, you know, halfway down or a few threads, enough so I could hit the nut and not mess up this. But I don't care about this thing, so I'm gonna give it a whack. Alrighty. So guys, after getting the axles out, I have been spinning these hubs here, and you know what? They don't feel too bad. This one in particular doesn't feel too bad, but this one, on the other hand, it doesn't feel good. It's very notchy. I can feel the notches, like it's all worn apart, and like the bearings inside are just shot. So I can tell it takes more force to pull this thing. And I can almost guarantee this thing would have a bearing noise if it was taken apart, and or I mean, if it was taken down the road, you would definitely hear a bearing noise. So I'm gonna go ahead and put new bearings in, just both of them, because if I'm gonna do one, I might as well do the other. And I am gonna be painting all this stuff up nicely. It is a little bit chewed up here and there. I'll try to fix the backing plate a little bit, and just I'm gonna paint everything. I'm gonna go ahead and get new. I'm gonna get new bearings, and I'm gonna save these actual hub assemblies, the flange and the studs and everything, and I'll press these off of the actual bearing assembly, because that is mounted by 4 bolts in the back here. So you can see these 4 bolts. There goes my impact gun. You can see these 4 bolts here, and if you just take these out, I already went ahead and pulled one of them off, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the other ones, and this piece should just fall right out, and then I'll have my separate hub and flange set up here. My hub and my bearing will fall out, and then I'll have access to the backing plate as well as the knuckle, and I'll be able to sandblast all this and make it look really nice. And then after I press, you know, all new setup in, I'm gonna go ahead and price out bearings and stuff tonight and see if I can get some more parts coming. Calipers should be here on Friday, and I'll hopefully get the bearings. Maybe I'm gonna order them through work or whatever. And I'm gonna try to cut the rotors like I said, and we should have a good working setup. I'm gonna hit up the junkyard this Saturday to try to get some more parts. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tear this down and show you guys what it looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in the truck, and we will do them when we're ready to do them. And like I said, in the meantime, I'm gonna go get some more parts. I will be going to the junkyard on Saturday to get some more parts, and at that point we can go ahead and finish up this conversion, because I'm gonna have the rears, and I'll order some Prelude rear bearings, and I gotta figure out what I need to do with washers in the rear. That'll come soon, but yeah. That's about it for this video, guys, so I think I will cap it off here after that. And that's just the first phase of this 5-lug conversion, just getting parts together. Be getting some more parts together probably in the second video. I'll show you guys what I end up getting at the junkyard this weekend. I plan to get some rear knuckles for a 94 to 97 Accord that are from an EX, and that'll have brake discs as opposed to drums, and that'll be nice upgrade for me, because I don't really like the look of the drums, and I prefer the convenience of a caliper setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, but thanks for watching, guys, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to see more. And we are gonna take this car as far as it will let me take it. We're gonna mod it just until we can't mod it anymore, until there's not anything left to change. So, and hopefully I'll document the whole process for you guys, and we'll be able to you know, have a good database here for stock engine turbo Hondas, and see what this thing will make, and then maybe with a mild build, you know, and I'll list all the parts that I use, and it's just, you know, a reliable, no BS way just to show you guys of what these cars are capable of, in case you want to do something like this to your CD5, because it's a very, very capable setup, and the car is still pretty light, so it's pretty quick. It's definitely not the fastest car in the world, but you know, it's quick, and it's definitely loud, that's for sure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.